Pan, you're representing Rosamond here at Supervisor Scrivener's party for re-election party.
Yes, I am.
And do you think he's been a good supervisor?
He's been a very good supervisor for us.
Yeah, for Rosamond.
For our town of Rosamond.
I don't see too many Rosamond people here. In fact, you're the only one.
I see you and I myself.
Right.
We could take care of our Rosamond.
Right.
With Zack help, we'll be fine.
That's right. Well, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Got it. I think we've had this in the works for months because I didn't want to lose that opportunity. I want to get a round of applause for Mono with Red House Barbecue and his wife and all their team for the great food. I hope you guys enjoyed it. He always does an amazing job for us. I want to thank the wineries and our brewery that was here. First, Mike and Michelle Dorner with Dorner Family Vineyards. Thank you guys. And Tyson and Katie Southworth with Honey Wagon Brewing. Thank you guys for being here. I think this is our first event with you, so thank you so much. Bob and Patty Souza with Souza Family Vineyard. And just, if you haven't had a chance to meet all these folks, you really need to, because they're great people. They came up here with a vision and they made it happen here in Tehachapi. And so I think we're really going to continue to grow as a winery and tasting room destination. Cliff and Lisa Meredith with Stray Leaf Winery, thank you so much. Great to have you here. And finally, Jim and Sally Arnold with Triassic Vineyard. You probably drove by their place coming in here, so they have a beautiful tasting room as well. I want to thank my wife Christina. Thank you so much. She helps me through everything that I do, all my campaigns. You probably got a phone call from her about this event, so thank you, Christina. I love you. I appreciate you. Michelle Vance, who, if you are from Tehachapi, you know Tehachapi. Michelle is involved in just about everything good that happens up here. So thank you so much for your help on my event. She's phenomenal. She does everything up here. My mom and dad, Bill and Kathy Scrivener, are here. I see my mom. My dad's back there. That's typical. Appreciate you guys being here. Also, my aunt Cindy. She's here. Cindy Zimmer. She puts away gangbangers for the DA's office. She heads that up. So we appreciate everything she does. I want to thank my staff. Several of them drove you guys up here. It's John and Brian and Ryan. And I know Ryan was working check-in, and John and Brian were driving people up. And so I want to thank them too. Everything that I do is obviously supported by them, and all the volunteers who came up here to help. We had so many people that pitched in. It's a big effort, and so we appreciate it. I want to take one moment, as we enjoy this beautiful scenery, this great setting, the great food and drink and great friends. I was just thinking tomorrow is September 11th. And so we need to take a moment and remember the folks that lost their lives, the folks that have been fighting for us for all these years. And do we have any veterans or first responders that are in the audience here? I want to give you guys a big round of applause. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you. We're going to appreciate you, especially tomorrow. When I was elected in 2010, and I took office in 2011, I made a few promises. The first thing I promised was that I was going to fix our broken pension system that has led to these huge unfunded liabilities. And I worked hard on that with my colleagues, and within 1 year of being in office, we reformed the retirement system, and so now we're helping to bring fiscal sustainability to the county by doing that. The second thing I talked about was that I was going to help bring fiscal responsibility to the county, and I feel really proud about our efforts that we've done there specifically. First of all, we built up $160 million in reserves during the time that I was in office and shortly before that. We were putting money away when a lot of other counties were spending everything that they could in order to keep government as usual in place. And we were putting aside tens of millions of dollars each and every year. And it was a good thing that we did, because when oil went down to 35 bucks a barrel, I know we're around 40 now, from 101, we lost $80 million in 2 years out of our general fund. So that's out of about $300 million. And so what we've done, rather than massive layoffs and huge cutbacks in the level of service, is we've started to responsibly dip into those reserves. And we have a 4-year strategic plan where we're going to be pulling a little bit out of reserves as we cut county budget a little bit every single year over the 4-year period of time. So at the end of this plan, we're going to have county government reducing its cost by 15%, and we're still going to have a healthy reserve in place. But that's why we built them up in the first place, because we know we're a boom and bust county. We know that oil ebbs and flows, and so we wanted to make sure that when oil was high, we were doing the right thing and putting the money away. Yet, the answer is not new taxes for folks. The answer is for us as a county to figure out how we're going to live within our means, and that's how we're doing it right now. The third thing I said that I would do is I would work to spur private sector job growth. And just a couple of things that I wanted to mention. First of all, we did a huge environmental impact report for the oil industry. We did that to help them to streamline their processes so they weren't going to continue to get sued by environmentalists and other groups. I mean, we produce 75 to 80% of the oil in the entire state of California and Kern County. It's a ton of jobs, it's a ton of revenue. I talked about how when oil's down, the way that hit us. And so by doing that, we were responsible. We were going to protect the environment. We're going to protect our communities, protect our folks. But we're also going to provide a pathway so our industry can continue to thrive. And we need to do that because Sacramento doesn't do us any favors when it comes to that industry. We have become the state leader in renewable energy. So not only are we the oil capital of California, we're also the renewable energy capital of California. You guys see the turbines and the solar, and those are jobs. Those are jobs and those are tax revenue that come to us. And so I'm really proud of the fact that the 2nd District has more renewable energy than anywhere in the entire county. And that's no accident. That's because we have entrepreneurs that want to come and make an investment in our county because they know that in Kern County we're open for business and we're going to try to find a pathway for a project to get approved. Golden Queen Mine is another one. It's the first mine to be permitted that's out in Mojave. First mine to be permitted in California in decades, and it'll probably be the last, unfortunately. But that's another thing that Kern County has done. That's 190 jobs out there that are now in a very lucrative mining industry, and it's just one other way where we're trying to diversify our economy because we know we can't depend on just one thing. If you drove out here, you saw our state-of-the-art greenhouses. There's a big greenhouse, Sun Select. Awesome operation. It's all mechanized, and so we're really proud of the fact that out here in Cummings Valley we have our wineries, our agritourism, we have our state-of-the-art greenhouses, organic vegetables as far as you can see across the valley. All those organic vegetables, more or less, that you're buying in the store are grown here in Cummings Valley or in parts of Kern County, and so that's another thing that we're doing in Kern that they're not doing anywhere else. I want to also mention Kern Medical Center, and I know we changed the name, but I'm going to call it KMC. When I first started in office and we started looking at Kern Medical Center, we were losing $22 million a year in that hospital, sometimes up to $3 million a month, because that's the hospital where folks go who don't have any insurance. And there were also some issues with making sure that our staffing was matching the number of patients that were actually coming in. And so now we've transitioned to a hospital authority. That's something that the county of Kern's government was looking at doing for 20 plus years. We did it this year, and now that hospital is making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month instead of losing money. And how that matters is that money was going to be pulled out of everything, out of public safety, out of roads, everything else. And so now you don't have $3 million that are going into the hospital. You actually have the hospital now up on its feet, running on its own with its own independent board, which makes it more competitive because it doesn't have to be a county department. It can actually be a competitive hospital with all the other hospitals in the community. But despite our success, we know that status quo, just cutting, or status quo minus 5% or whatever it's going to be, that's not going to be sustainable for us. And so what we're doing in the face of the reduction in revenues that we're seeing, and just the change in government in general, is the county is embarking on a new strategic plan. It's a strategic plan. A lot of people do strategic plans. But what we're actually doing is we're going and we are doing performance audits for every single county department. We're looking at all of our positions, our funded vacants, as well as our unfunded vacant positions that have been on the books, some of them 2 years plus, and making sure that all those positions are actually mission critical. And that's how we're going to try over the course of the next few years to not just cut, but find ways in which the county can be more efficient. We're employing lean strategies, lean thinking, Lean Six Sigma, you guys have heard of it, Toyota did it 30 years ago. Air Energy did it about 20 years ago locally, and now we're going to do it at Kern County. We're going to make sure that by 2020, Kern County is going to be the most efficient and cost-effective government in the entire state of California, if not in the United States of America. That's our commitment to everybody because you deserve it, and we're going to have to change because we know that the world around us is changing. And that includes looking at all of our union contracts and our overtime and everything else, all those things that we think that we can fix. And so I want to thank you all so much for being here. It's just such an honor and a privilege to represent this district and also each and every one of you that live in Kern County on the Board of Supervisors. God bless. Thanks so much.